right, welcome back to No Filter MMA. This is your boy BJ on my patented drive home from work. So I've been thinking all day, you know what I'm saying? I've been thinking about rankings and contenders and what it means to, once you get that number beside your name, and you know what I'm saying? I've been thinking about the whole, we talk about a lot, me and Combo Breaker 99, me and the guys over at Bloody Canvas, we talk a lot about rankings and who should be doing what and what they need to do to make their way to the belt. You know what I'm saying? And, rankings are there for a reason, but also what it should also mean. And I was thinking, at this point, fighters know what it means to be ranked. You know what I'm saying? Like, fighters know what it means to be a ranked opponent. That means that when you're ranked, you're separated, sort of, in a way, you're separated from the rest of the division. You know what I'm saying? You're separated from the rest of the division. And I'm not just talking about, the bantamweight division. I'm talking about all of these divisions in the UFC and in MMA, period. Any organization that has a ranking system, these fighters that have a number beside their name, any number beside their name, they should be ready and be preparing for a title shot and should be ready to get that call at any moment. Now, I'm not saying that, fighters ranked 10 and below should be getting a title shot. What I'm saying is those fighters that are ranked 10 and below, they should be on par to get a title shot. They should be ready and prepared in case they get somebody pulls out and they get a top 5 fight. Anytime that there's a top 5 fight going on, I believe that there should be alternates. You know what I'm saying? I think that, in title eliminator fights and things like that, I think that, especially in the women's division, there should be alternates. And the alternates should be people who are ranked lower than the people who are fighting. So any fight that goes on, and I mean any fight that goes on between two top 5 ranked opponents or two top 10 ranked, or really two top 5 ranked opponents, there should be a alternate in case somebody pulls out, in case somebody makes weight. Because listen, guys, there's already an issue with women. There's not enough women fights on these cards. There should be at least 3 to 4 female fights per card. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying women's, but I'm really talking all, not when I'm talking about this, but, I'm talking, as far as ranked contenders should be ready. I'm talking all contenders, but specifically women's MMA, because in case some people who watch this channel forget that this is a women's MMA channel and that I cover women's MMA, some people seem to forget that. But when it comes to the women, the women, there's not much, things go slower in the women's divisions because sometimes there's not a lot of fights being put on. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of movement in the divisions only because of the amount of fights per card. If we had 3 to 4 fights, really up to 5 fights per card, you know what I'm saying, then we wouldn't be having this problem. We would see a lot more movement. But for all of these fights, think about all the fights that have fell apart in the past 6 months. You know what I'm saying? If there was a ranked opponent on par, on deck, ready to take a fight, you know what I'm saying, making weight, training, then I don't think we would have these problems. Now, that's a lot to ask out of the fighter because, a lot of times you're going to have a lot of fighters, making weight and stuff for no reason. But, I think that, knowing that there's somebody there to take your spot if you don't show up and if you don't make weight, I think that would incentivize a lot of more people to be ready to make weight, you know what I'm saying, to, be ready to fight and get their spot, especially if there's somebody waiting in the wings. For me, if I was a fighter, you know what I'm saying, and, I know that there's somebody waiting to take my spot, I'm going to be ready come fight night. Come fight week, I'm going to be ready. Fight, my weight going to be on point. Everything going to be on point. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like, and like I said, especially in the women's divisions, that, these fights should always have at least one alternate. so that if somebody falls out of the fight, then somebody can jump right in, and guess what? We would still have a fight. We would still have a fight. You know what I'm saying? So I just, okay, let's say for instance, you know what I'm saying, the first time that what fight? What's a recent fight that got canceled? The Taylor Santos fight. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I'm gonna use it as an example. Taylor Santos is fighting. Who is Taylor Santos fighting next? I forgot who Taylor Santos is fighting. Joanne Calderwood. So you got Taylor Santos versus Joanne Calderwood. If somebody, we know, especially with somebody who's known for pulling out of fights, like Taylor Santos, things known for falling apart. Even Joanne Calderwood has had trouble, making it to fight sometimes. So even with fighters like that, let's say that something happens in that fight. You know what I'm saying? Andrea Lee should be ready to step in and take that fight. Whether or not they have, if you don't have a fight, you should be ready to jump in. Yo, Dana, let me be the alternate for this fight. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have a fight, or even if you're highly touted but you're unranked, like a Montana De La Rosa, Montana should be on par, waiting for somebody to pull out of this fight so she can step right in there and take that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And then boom, what if it works out well for Montana? And next thing you know, we got Montana De La Rosa versus Joanne Calderwood or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the type of things that should happen. Okay, who's supposed to be fighting Valentina? Really, okay. Let's say Taylor Santos beats Joanne Calderwood and she's on par to fight, Valentina Shevchenko. Knowing Taylor Santos's track record, we should have, we should have Jennifer Maia on deck, or we should have Alexa Grasso on deck, or we should have Manon Fiorito on deck. You know what I'm saying? As an alternate in case something doesn't go through. I think that's what should happen. You know what I'm saying? These fighters pull out, especially like Marina Moroz. You know what I'm saying? They pull out a fight. We don't know. The verdict is still out there on Marina Moroz. We don't know where Marina Moroz fits in at 125 pounds because she's pulled out so many times. And so many fights have fell through. A fight with De La Rosa fell through. A fight with Taylor Santos fell through. A fight with Manon Fiorito fell through. Like, all these fights with her have fallen through. So, I think that, especially women's fights, that, there's not a lot of activity in the women's division. Anyway, only because, these fighters, these cards just don't have sometimes you have a card with one female fight or a card with two female fights. We need cards with 5 female fights on them. You know what I'm saying? I think that, these other fighters, and not even just flyweight, you know what I'm saying? Look at bantamweight. You know what I'm saying? When these fights fall apart, like, okay, let's see. Pena and Nunes, I understand that's a title shot, but Pena could have fought somebody else. Or or Nunes could have fought somebody else if Pena pulled out. Like, okay, this fight coming up, Nunes versus Pena. I think Macy Chiasson should be on deck. Macy Chiasson should be on deck for any one of these two to pull out of this fight. You know what I'm saying? Or let's say, Irene Aldana fights. Let's say Irene Aldana fights Aspen Ladd next. You know what I'm saying? Macy Chiasson or Carol Rosa or Misha Tate, they should be on par to fight. That's just what I'm thinking about. Maybe I'm not using the best examples here, but you guys kind of get what I'm saying. Like, so I think that we only have so many fights in the women's division. We only get so many. But there's a high rate of fights that fall through as well. So I think that it wouldn't be such a bad idea to have fighters on par for that. Have fighters on deck for that. Especially, I think it's a good idea. You guys let me know what you think. And even with the men's divisions, like let's go to the men's featherweight division. Let's find the men's featherweight division. Because there was a big fight in the men's featherweight division that didn't happen, which was Yair Rodriguez versus Max Holloway. So in that case, maybe Giga Chikadze could have been on par to fight one of the two that pulled out. Bryce Mitchell could have been on par. Sadiq Yusuf could have been on par. Shane Burgos could have been on par. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit, and therefore we could have at least had a fight, and that could have been somebody's opportunity to grow. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's opportunity to get where they've really been trying to get. Somebody's opportunity to go out there, prove themselves, and skip the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, skip the line and get where you really want to be. Maybe I'm not delivering this the best way, but you guys understand what I'm trying to say. This is your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop your comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think about should all these fights, you know what I'm saying, these top contender fights, these big fights, these top 5 fights, these top 7, 8 fights, should there be alternates for fights with title implications on the line? That's the question I'm trying to ask. Should there be alternates for fights with title implications? This, of course, will be your boy BJ back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that dislike, and if you guys haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and your boy is out.